You thought this was old. No, we're going even older today. Atari! Wait, what is there to say about Atari? Here's one thing, Atari's peak console was only 17 million units over Nintendo's biggest failure. We all know Atari for one console in particular, that being the Atari 2600. Combining all the sales of the Atari 2600's successors though, that's a different story. The 5200, the 7200, the Jaguar, it doesn't even get half of what Nintendo's biggest failure got, and that's just sad. But I don't want to stray from today's topic, which is quite interesting in my opinion. Could Atari come back to the console market? First, let me explain why Atari left the console market to begin with. And that's an easy one to answer. That being the lack of innovation, being too confident for their own good, and a certain other company that decided to join the console market as well. Yeah, Atari wasn't that smart. They're a shell of their former self, being the Sega before Sega, meaning they just became a third party for other platforms. And no, I'm not counting the Atari flashbacks or the Atari VCS. Cause seriously, just buy the Atari game compilations on the bigger platforms. Though the Atari VCS is the newest and most recent attempt by Atari to rejoin the console market, and I won't say it sold nothing, it couldn't even outsell the Virtual Boy. The damn Virtual Boy! Yeah, Atari has no chance competing against Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft nowadays. I mean, if you analyze the sales even back then, when Nintendo came out, Atari's never been ahead of them. They were always close to last actually. Though at the time, Nintendo was their only competition, besides the Sega consoles. But we don't talk about the Sega consoles, because it wasn't soon after that they left the console manufacturing business and also became a third party. You know, if you think about it, Atari before Nintendo wasn't that great to begin with. Like, yeah, they're one of the original console manufacturers, sitting there along with the ColecoVision, Intellivision, and Magnavox Odyssey of systems. But after Nintendo came out with the NES and SNES, Atari tried to cash in on that success of those consoles, and tried to make games that were just like the ones Nintendo were making. Atari Kart, anyone? So, do I think Atari could rejoin the console market? Well, to make a long story short, no. Why is that? Well, with their new systems failing, and them not being as recognizable as they were back in the 70s and 80s, I don't think people would want to risk getting an Atari console, when they already know they'll do better getting an Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo console. Cause people now are only used to those three manufacturers when it comes to game consoles. And dare I say it, maybe even Sega consoles due to sympathy. Oh, also, by the way, we can finally end this meme! What an interesting time to be a gaming fan. Lots of ups, but also a lot of downs. The next system has to be better, at least better than the Vita. What the f is set to be as powerful as Sony and Microsoft's 8th gen offerings? Well, definitely more powerful. And with the success of the Mii's and the original Wii, it would be a no-brainer to keep the Mii's for Nintendo's next home console. God, I can never escape it. The Wii U.